Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads, eat them up, yum.
In the morning, laughing happy fish heads. In the evening, floating in the soup.
Fish heads,
Roly-poly fish heads,
eat them up, yum.
Ask a fish head anything you want to. They won't answer, they can't talk.
Fish heads,
Roly-poly fish heads,
eat them up, yum.
It is the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7. Very good reason for playing the Fish Head song by Barnes & Barnes, a classic Dr. Demento tune. We will get to it later. It involves celebrities posing naked with fish. I don't know. It's some crazy cause. But we'll get to it. Welcome to the show tonight. Hope you had a terrific weekend. Also on the show tonight, besides naked celebs and fish, we've got a mail call that has to do with noisy neighbors. Email from a listener that has to do with noisy neighbors. Now, it's that time of the year with fireworks. You know, this is fireworks season. And that can cause a lot of ruckus and a lot of aggravation. But this particular email and the story that was linked to it, not about fireworks. And I'll have a question. Maybe we'll do a poll, a flash poll. Which would you prefer? But we'll get to that. Also, we have more gator news. Alligators. My gosh, it's been like 2 weeks of nothing but alligator news. It's crazy. And Dayton and Ohio in particular, one of the top states and cities in the state for dog bites of postal workers. So we're going to talk about all of that coming up, 937-457-1290. The first thing I wanted to do was thank everybody who came out to the Evening Edge happy hour this past Friday night at Carillon Brewing Company. It was a lot of fun. And my sincerest apologies to the folks who like watching on the stream. We weren't able to figure it out. We had some technical issues, and I would have loved to have been able to show everyone watching the great unveiling of the giant Cheez-It. Just didn't work out. But if you missed it, you can see it on my Facebook. There's a video that I put together that shows the entire deal, from the introduction to the interview of the artist. And surprisingly, Skate Elvis was there for the unveiling. So you can all check it out on my Facebook page. And thanks again to everybody there at Carillon Brewing Company and Carillon Historical Park. Brady Kress and his whole team over there. It was great. People had a lot of fun, and I look forward to doing it again. The first thing I wanted to get into, I love time capsules. I love the idea of time capsules because I'm kind of a history guy. You know, I love old artifacts, and it's always interesting to see these things because you think about the folks who put those items into the time capsule, and you wonder, it's like, did they think that it would ever be found or when it might be found? And I saw a story on WHIO.com from Marion, Ohio. Now, there's a fire station there. Marion is about 50 miles north of Columbus. There's an old fire station there that's in the process of being demolished. Time to move on, right? They need a bigger and better fire station. That happens a lot. But inside of one of the walls of this fire station, they found a time capsule. And I thought that, well, this is kind of cool. So what sort of things did they find in this time capsule? When firefighters opened the box, they found items including turn of the century fire department badges. Okay, so that's very cool, very specific for the fire department. That's neat. newspapers from July 1905. And the original lease for the property, fire station staff rosters, and more. And I thought, well, that's really cool. That's really cool. Now, 100 years, it seems like a lot, but really, when you think about it, we know so much about our history here. That wasn't terribly long ago. I know how that sounds, but it really wasn't in the big scheme of things. But it's still kind of cool to open up a time capsule. Now, I've done stories on the show before about time capsules, and sometimes, ridiculously, the time capsule is only like 25 years old, and then they open it. I remember, I don't know if it was local, might have been either Xenia or Yellow Springs or someplace. I remember, I thought it was somewhere in Greene County, where they uncovered a time capsule, which I don't know if they knew it was there or they just happened upon it, but then they opened it. And it was only like 20 or 30 years old. To me, that's not much of a time capsule, right? I mean, there's still people that have newspapers that old, probably in their basement or their garage. The money from that time period is still circulating and still moving around. It's not that long ago. I like the idea of a time capsule that is hundreds and hundreds of years old. I mean, I want to find a time capsule that George Washington buried or Ben Franklin. That would be interesting. And somewhere out on the planet, there's probably hundreds of time capsules that haven't been discovered. And I don't know if there's any time capsules that have been buried here. I'm sure there have. But I don't remember where they are. I don't remember seeing stories, at least in my lifetime. Where are the time capsules in the Miami Valley? And how long ago were they buried? But I got thinking, it's like, if we were going to bury a time capsule now, today, what would you want to put in it? What do you think people 100, 200, 300 years from now might be interested in seeing? I'd be curious to know what you think. 937-457-1290. I mean, my first thought was something like a cell phone, like an iPhone. I mean, there's still old cell phones out there floating around, the little flip phone for maybe 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. In fact, I saw a couple at the event on Friday night. People wanted to get their picture taken with the giant Cheez-It, and a couple of people had the old flip phones, which I thought was fun. But either way, maybe somebody in the future would like to see old technology, because imagine what it'll be in 100 years or 200 or 3. I mean, my gosh, that would be crazy, crazy, crazy. Of course, newspapers are always an easy thing to put in there. Money, sure. I don't know, maybe a remote control for a TV. I mean, will there be remote controls in 100 years? You probably won't need a remote control. You'll probably have a little chip implanted in your mind, and you think that you want to change the channel, and it changes it to the channel that you want. I mean, that would be kind of interesting, right? Or musical instruments. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you could put in there that maybe in the future people would be interested in. 937-457-1290. One thing, maybe music. A real popular artist right now is none other than Taylor Swift. Maybe a CD from Taylor Swift. What do you think? Would that be a good time capsule edition? Well, maybe not. But the other thing that I wanted to bring up, and it has to do with not so much Taylor Swift, but her fans. So I saw this story today on cosmopolitan.com, which it's one of my top 5 sites that I go to every morning. USA Today, sportsillustrated.com. I go to, of course, WHIO.com. I always go to eBay because I love looking for old stuff. And then, of course, Cosmopolitan. This is the headline. Taylor Swift fans are apparently wearing diapers to the Eras tour, which she's on right now, to make sure they don't miss anything. Now, I saw this story on Facebook and I thought, oh, that's got to be a joke. That's probably from a satirical website. I get those every once in a while. Somebody will send me a link and say, "Oh, Todd, you got to check this out." And it's like, no. If you look, you'll see you have to dig a little bit deeper into the page and find out that it's all satirical. And I thought this has got to be one of those sites. But guess what? It's not. It's not. This was on Cosmo, and there is a TikTok channel where Swifties, as they are called, are proudly declaring that they are wearing diapers to her concerts. So when they're standing there watching the show, and some of these shows, they've gone on for quite a while, 2.5, maybe 3 hours, at least what I've seen, especially if there's rain. And that's been happening a lot to some of her shows. But they don't want to miss a single second. So they're wearing diapers. And I thought, who has ever heard of such a thing? Now, I'm sure that there are audience members who go to concerts who are already wearing diapers, right? I mean, maybe you're older, you're a bit incontinent, you don't want to have to deal with running to the bathroom, probably a safe move. But not 20-year-old young women, right? Oh, random, do you wear diapers to concerts?
No, I do not. But
Oh,
it did
thank
remind
God.
me, the story did remind me of a story from about like 50, 60 years ago, back
50
when
or
the
60,
back when the Beatles were really popular.
Were the girls back then wearing diapers to see the Fab Four?
They were not, but some would get so excited that they would pee their pants.
Well-
I'm not even joking.
Well, I get that. And
Maybe they should have been.
Maybe
is what
they
I'm
should-
saying.
but
Maybe
I
they
think-
should have been.
But I don't think this is out of a cause of concern because of their excitement. I think they just don't want to
Preparing
go.
ahead.
They just don't want to run to the bathroom, right? And I don't think there's an intermission. So there you go. But that's where we are now. People wearing diapers to concerts so they don't miss a single thing. 937-457-1290. If you have a comment on what we should put in the time capsule, call me.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
All right. Well, look, I don't know if you guys heard me talking, but I do apologize for not getting the stream up on Friday. I was really unhappy with that aspect of it. I was trying. I was on the phone with our tech people trying to get it rectified, but there was just a problem with my computer, and I couldn't get the daggone program to recognize the camera or the microphone, and I was out there by myself. So sorry. But like I said, if you go to my Facebook page, you will see a video, and I'll actually, you know what? I will find the link I will find the link and I will share it so you can see the unveiling, because I know that's what a lot of people wanted to see. Here's the link. So later or whatever, you can watch. But hey, Russell, thanks for watching tonight. Hey, David, hope you're doing well. Hey, William. Yeah, I love Fish Heads, man. I think that might have been one of the first songs that I ever remember from Dr. Demento. Hey, Kim, how you doing? Happy Monday to you. Hey, Beth, glad you survived. Yeah, I'm glad I survived too. It was a little much. It was hot, I'll tell you that. Hey, Billy and Amanda, good seeing you. I'm going to give you a shout out here in a minute once we get back into the news. Frank, Taylor Swift, what? Hey, Angela, how you doing? Yeah, a good recipe for chocolate chip cookies. Sorry, Ashley. My wife just sent me a picture from the Meyer. It's a display of fireworks, and it says, obviously, fireworks, no smoking. And then there's a big sign that says no fireworks discharged within 300 feet. That's funny. Hey, Jeanette, how you doing? Hi, Denise. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I love it. Thanks, David. Oh, man. Man, all of a sudden, I got a runny nose. Eesh. Here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7. Want to give a shout out to Billy and Amanda. Ran into them the other night at Meijer. I was doing some shopping with my wife. And Billy came up to me and said, "Hey, are you the Evening Edge guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's me. Nice to meet you." I'm just glad he didn't find me in the lingerie department, because that's where I was just moments before with my wife. He found me over in the big guy clothes, so it worked out. 937-457-1290. Chuck and Vandalia. What's up, Chuck?
How you doing?
Good. How are you doing, man?
Wonderful.
What do you think we should put in the time capsule?
Rotary phone, an answering machine, and a phone book.
Oh, now see, there you go. 3 things that are completely 100% obsolete.
Exactly.
But it certainly does give of an idea of how life once would have been, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I like that idea.
We grew up on.
That's right. You know, I only got to use a rotary phone because my grandma Hollst had one. And I'll tell you what, it was a pain in the butt to use those phones to try to win radio contests. It was next to impossible. I appreciate it, Chuck. Thanks for your call. 937-457-1290.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Be right back. Gotta go blow my nose. Oh, man. All right, I'm back. Whoo! Crazy, crazy. Okay. Oh, here you go. Box of Cheez-Its. That's true, David. 100 years, the Twinkie will probably still be edible. Yuck, but yeah. Angela, you still use a rotary phone. Interesting. And an answering machine. And a phone book. Angela, do you still have a antenna on your house for your TV that you use the little rotator on the top of the TV to move the antenna? I'm not making fun of you. I swear. I'm just asking. Some people just don't like technology. I get it. Hey, Matthew, thanks for watching tonight, commenting. My mom still has an answering machine, but she still has a landline. Well, I'll tell you what, Angela, you've got access to the internet. You practically don't need a TV anymore. You know, you could just watch everything you want on your computer. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. Everybody have a good weekend. I power washed the back of my house yesterday. We're having people over Saturday, and I had to power wash it because it was a little dingy. It's the first time I've ever power washed siding. It's interesting. Angela, you must be watching on your phone then. Is that it? Because you say you don't use computers. You must be watching on your phone. Well, it's kind of like a computer, right? It is a computer. Just different, a little different. Oh, awesome. That's awesome, Xander. Hey, Will. We got traffic. Okay. Good job on Friday night, by the way.
Thank you.
You were great. A lot of good pictures. What's that?
Those pictures turned out.
Yeah, yeah. I think people were happy to see you out there. So good stuff, man. I'm just going to reset. Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7. Over the weekend, we had another car crash into a house. I think this happened on Saturday, maybe? I got a couple of emails. I got an email from somebody at the fire department, and then I got another email from a friend of mine who, well, let's just say he would be in the know if a car hit a building. So that'd be number 56 for the year, if you're keeping track. It happened at England Avenue and Prescott Road or Street in Dayton. 937-457-1290. We're talking about time capsules. They uncovered a time capsule in Marion, Ohio at the fire station. And I asked the question, what should we put in a time capsule if we were going to bury one today? And let's make it specific to Dayton. Let's just make it specific to our area. If you got an idea, 937-457-1290. But first, we've got traffic.
Yes.
And Will Taylor is here with a, by the way, great job as Edgy the Evening Edge Squirrel on Friday night.
Thank you so much.
You did a wonderful job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Though I wasn't real happy that you took off the big tail when you discovered there was already a tail on the costume.
Yeah.
I think having two tails, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, some kind of mutant freak. That's how I felt.
I would agree. Okay, that's fine. All right. Well, get to your traffic report.
Yes. So we're dealing with a pretty big issue right now. This is I-75 southbound in the Franklin area. The left lane is blocked. This is just past State Route 73. So to get around this, about a 25-minute delay right now. So to get around this, you can hop off 75 and you can take State Route 741 south, and you can use that and then hop on State Route 122, and you can try and bypass most of that slowdown.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you for that. 937-457-1290. Let's see. Tina and Dayton. What's up, Tina? Hello, Tina. Tina.
Hello.
Oh, there you are, Tina.
Hello.
There you are.
There?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button.
We've spoken a couple of times. My grandma worked at Sunshine Biscuit.
Oh, yes, that's right. I do remember that. Yep.
Okay, well, definitely one thing that needs to go in the time capsule is Cheez-Its.
Oh, yeah, a bag of Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its for sure.
The reason I'm calling is I just saw a thing on Google. It was from KTLA out of Los Angeles.
Okay.
And until June 11th, you need to go check this out.
Okay.
Until June 11th, in Joshua Tree, they have a rest stop that is totally Cheez-It themed.
Really?
There's a picture of it and everything. They have a Cheez-It gas pump that pumps out bags of Cheez-Its, and it's out of KTLA, Los Angeles. But I don't know if you might Google.
I'll find it. But I'm wondering if this was done by Cheez-It or if it was just somebody else, because if it was done by Cheez-It, maybe that explains why they didn't want to be a part of this awesome event Friday night when we unveiled the Cheez-It statue. They had to go to Joshua Tree so they could create a rest stop for Cheez-It.
Well, it's only there as a Cheez-It till June 11th.
Till June 11th.
7 days.
All right.
Like a week. But I just wanted to call and tell you, I just saw this. And I'm like, I need to call Todd right now.
I will check it out. Thank you, Tina. I appreciate it. Marty Z in Kettering. What's up, Marty Z?
Hey, how you doing today, Todd?
Good. How are you?
I want to let you know that you had a phenomenal show at Caroline Brewing.
Oh, thank you so much. You were there. I heard you. Everybody heard you.
Well, I got an idea for you.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, I told you on the air before, because I had to thank you for the Peter Frampton ticket.
Sure.
Okay, and I hope you enjoy the big box of Cheez-Its.
I am. I've got them open right now at home. They're my favorite snack.
And I got an idea for you for the swag underwear.
Oh, yes. Marty gave me a pair of Cheez-It boxer briefs, size large, a little small, but I'm working on losing some weight, so maybe eventually they'll fit.
Well, all they had was small, medium, and large.
That's all right.
But here's an idea.
It's the thought that counted.
You can get like a 3-foot, 4-foot dowel rod. Okay, staple it and then you can, instead of waving your flag, you can wave your swag.
There you go. I could wave the underwear in the air.
There you go.
There you go. That's a great idea, Marty Z. I appreciate it. Paul in Fairborn. What's up, Paul?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Lady beat me to the punch with the cheeses, but that's a good idea. But I've got a better idea.
Yeah, let's hear it.
How about you in time capsule?
Put me in a time capsule? You mean like now? You like I should go into the time capsule now?
No, I would wait until you can no longer talk. But anyway, and I've got a question. Are you paying these people to run into houses with their cars?
No, I'm not. But I'll tell you what. I wish an insurance company would sponsor that feature. I think that would be be brilliant. Or a like a body shop. You know, a body shop should come along, and I'll give them a shout out every time there's a car into a building.
Okay, great idea. Now for the time capsule, I would suggest a model of the Wright brothers plane and maybe a picture of the Wright brothers holding bags of cheeses. you got to get the Wright brothers in there, though.
Somehow, some way, right?
Yeah.
I got you. All right, Paul. Thanks for your call. Bob in Kettering. What's up, Bob? Hello, Bob. Bob, are you there? Let's try it again. Bob? Bob is gone. Bob is gone. 937-457-1290. We have an idiot of the week.
You are a stupid idiot!
Comes from upbringing. Parents are probably idiots too.
Idiot! Imbecile pig!
Wake up, idiot!
Silly dilly dokio. I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's true.
This idiot actually has to do with driving, and I don't know if anybody saw this. This happened, I think this was Thursday, maybe? Happened on Thursday in Clark County. Troopers from the Springfield Post of the Ohio State Patrol responded to initial reports of a car stuck in Clark County. When they got there, they realized that the car was stuck in about 1.5 feet of concrete, freshly poured concrete. Now, I don't know who was driving, but from what I understand and what the story reported and pictures that I saw, there were signs. There were signs, don't enter. There were barrels, which you're not supposed to drive at. It's not a game. It's not a contest. You don't get points for it. And there was wet concrete. This was at the intersection of State Route 41 and Interstate 70 near Springfield. The car drove onto a closed entrance ramp into a work zone with wet concrete. Now, imagine, what do you do in that situation? You're driving along, and all of a sudden, that wet concrete is so strong and so powerful. You're going to know right away, right? It's just going to stop you in your tracks. And you sink, and your first instinct might be get out of the car. But you don't want to get out of the car. You're in concrete. You'll be in concrete. So I guess they had to call a tow truck, and they probably pulled him right out of there. And then they had to, re-pour the concrete. Because you can't just let it be. It'll fall apart. Even if you filled the tire tracks, I don't think that would work. I've never poured concrete before, but in my head, I'm thinking you can't just do a quick fix. Sounds to me like you'd have to redo the whole thing. But I don't know how you would do that. Would you have to go in and dig it all up? It was still obviously wet enough that a car could sink in it. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody who does concrete could answer that. But according to the Ohio State Highway Patrol, since 2018, there have been over 2,600 crashes in work zones. Man, oh man, that's a lot. But this guy or gal or whoever was driving, obviously not paying attention. There had to be signs blocking the entrance. There had to be. Unless they poured the concrete and then put up the signs. Something very similar to that happened to me years ago, and it had nothing to do with concrete. But I was at a bar, and believe it or not, I was actually the designated driver that night. I was not drinking. And I come out of the bar. It was near closing time. I come out of the bar restroom, and I'm walking, minding my own business, and then crash right to the ground. I fall, and it was because they were mopping the floor. And I hit the ground, and everybody stopped and looked, and oh God, fat guy down, fat guy down. And I get up. And I say to the young woman who's mopping, look, if you're going to mop a floor where there are people milling about, you put the sign up first and then you mop. You do it in that order. You don't mop and then put up the sign. You put the sign up and then you mop. So that way, if there's somebody like me walking along, minding their own business, and they go smack and fall down and get pummeled by the ground, you're covered.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Hey, Ashley, I have a question. Do you know if they ever found that second alligator in the St. Mary's River that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago? I think it was right before Memorial Day. There was the big story about the two alligators, little baby alligators. One was shot, but I never heard if the second one was found. Be curious to know if it's still out there on the loose. Are we still online? So, my friend John Lansadell, who is an artist in Bellbrook, just sent me a message and said that they did a time capsule, I guess, earlier this year. They did a big one in Bellbrook, rebuilding a toll booth on 725. Oh, Penny, now it has a name? Allie? Hang on. That's funny. Allie the alligator. Still on the loose. Well, that's disconcerting. I don't know how long how fast they grow. By the end of the summer, this thing could be maybe what, twice the size? Wouldn't that be crazy? Back here on the, okay, we get it. Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7. Just wanted to pass this along. I asked the question on the live stream because we have some people watching who live up near Lake St. Mary's. Grand Lake St. Mary's. Is that right? Grand Lake? That's the right one? Grand Lake St. Mary's? I think that's right, yeah. But the St. Mary's River, which runs into the lake, is where they found those two alligators. A couple of weeks back, one was shot, but the other one, which I guess has a name, Allie the alligator, is still on the loose. So thank you for the confirmation on that, Penny. I appreciate that. But I'm wondering how fast do alligators grow? Because if they don't find this alligator soon, by the end of the summer, it could be twice as big and really causing some problems, really causing all kinds of chaos up there. 937-457-1290. All right, so I started the show and I played this song right here, which people seem to like. One of my favorite songs from the Dr. Demento song or show. And we played it because it has to do with the story, and I've posted a link on my Facebook, Evening Edge Todd. You got to check it out. It's a little silly. Now, I know most people don't give a hoot about most celebrities, or any celebrities for that matter. But it is always amusing when sometimes they do odd things, and this would be one of them. So today, apparently, is International Day for the fight against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. That's a mouthful for a international day. But this story was making news today because of that very thing. And it has to do with celebrities posing naked with fish. And it's the most absurd thing I've ever seen in my life. Now, I understand they're trying to cause or, create a little bit of interest or attention for this International Day for the fight against that. Boy, that's just long. That's just too long. But they've been doing this since 2009. And there are pictures, and again, the link's on my Facebook if you want to check it out, of celebrities posing with fish. And they're naked. Not the fish, the celebrities. Helena Bonham Carter. She's posing nude with a big eye tuna fish. Dame Judi Dench is naked with a lobster. Now, you don't see anything, right? It's not like you're seeing all their bits and parts, right? It's just, they're, I wouldn't call them tastefully, but yeah. Emma Thompson is posing naked with a black scabbard fish. Gillian Anderson poses with a conger eel. Somebody by the name of Melanie Laurent poses naked with a crab. Sir Ben Kingsley is naked with a squid. And let's see, Jodie May is naked with a swordfish. What are we doing? If I had my choice, if they asked me to do this, I would pose naked with a fish stick. That would be it, just a fish stick. But if you'd like to laugh at these celebrities and these photos, you can find them on my Facebook page.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Russell, have a good night. Thanks for watching. Hey, Paul, how you doing? Hope you're well. Hal, have you had gator before? I've never eaten. I don't think I've ever eaten alligator. Hey, Josh, how you doing, man? Tastes like chicken. Is that true? Everything tastes like chicken. Well, not everything, but you know my point. So here's a question I'm going to get to here in a minute. Noisy neighbors. A, how do you deal with them? Do you confront them? And I don't mean in an aggressive way. Do you try to deal with the problem, or do you just call the police and let them deal with it? Hmm. Yeah, that's a good point, Ashley. Kind of have to know who you're approaching.
today. You know we gotta give you praise. Sing that name. Oh, Todd, we praise you.
It is the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7. Would you like to take a current events quiz and win tickets to see Santana? Be the fifth caller, 937-457-1290. You'll take the current events quiz and you'll see Santana June 27th at the Rose. So we've got that going on. Also, last hour we were talking about this time capsule that some demolition workers found in a old fire station, over 100-year-old fire station up in Marion, Ohio, north of Columbus. And I asked the question, if we were going to do our own time capsule here in Dayton, what would we put in it? Now, obviously, a lot of people were like, oh, the Cheez-It. Yeah, Cheez-It would be great. I would love that. Something with the Wright brothers. Sure. But I'm thinking, 100 or 200 years from now, what from today would people be interested in? I'm sure that there's somewhere in the Miami Valley that there's a time capsule with something from the Wright brothers, probably maybe Cheez-It or something, or Mike Sells potato chips or Esther Price cake. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking, like, from today, what would we put in there? Maybe something from the Dragons, I would think. That would be good. Right? I mean, that's relatively new in the big scheme of things. They've been around for 20 years, but I don't know if anything from the Dragons is in a time capsule somewhere. Something like that. 937-457-1290. We also have some road rage news.
A very bad case of road rage. There was this road rage. Should have just been road rage. You ever think of that?
And this guy turning right, like swearing, road rage.
I got road rage.
I just have so much road rage.
Please keep the road rage to a minimum, folks.
So we talked about this story a couple of weeks ago. Back in the middle of May, there was a road rage incident down in Cincinnati, and there was a shooting. And there was a man by the name of, Michael Sweeney. And he, I guess, was sort of a well-known Cincinnati businessman. And he got into some sort of altercation with someone else, and that person shot Mr. Sweeney in the head, and he later died. But then the suspect fled. They weren't able to find him. He'd been on the loose for a couple of weeks. Well, over the weekend, they caught him. I guess Friday night, they arrested this guy. And I just wanted to give it's not quite closure to the story, but they did make an arrest, 37-year-old guy who has a record of crime and just got out of prison at the beginning of this year. So he was arrested, and it happened May 13th near Mitchell Avenue on I-75. Don't know exactly what the altercation was, but it was road rage related. So I wanted to mention that. And then and this isn't road rage. This is more like grocery store checkout line rage. Now, how many times do you get upset and irritated and annoyed when you're in the checkout line? This happened in Columbus Thursday night around 10:15. Cops say that there was a fight inside of a Kroger because one customer cut in front of another. And that's what led to the shooting and murder of, I guess I don't know if you would call it murder, because the person who got killed was apparently one of the people who was the aggressor. So I don't know if that counts as murder, but they were killed. And what happened was they got into an argument inside. A security guard told the two groups to get the heck out of there. One of the guys came back in to pay for his groceries, and as he was walking out, the people he had the confrontation with tried to rob him at gunpoint. The security guard comes out, shots were fired, and one of the bad guys gets shot and then later dies. But all because of line cutting at the grocery store. Well, random, you go like, well, Is that worth the effort or worth the aggravation?
I don't think it's worth it, but Kroger's can be a bit of a rough place. You just got to be careful, be safe, and just get out of there as soon as possible. Those people, they smell blood.
Well,
if those customers smell blood, they'll be all over you.
I suppose, but I just feel like that's one of those things where, why take it to the next level? Just let them go. Just let them go. It's not worth the fight. And I don't think that it's being meek or being cowardly. It's like preserving yourself. Because if somebody's willing to throw down or pull a gun over an argument at the checkout line, you just don't want to deal with somebody that mentally unstable. At least that's my opinion. 937-457-1290. All right, I think we've got somebody for current events quiz. Is this Andrew? Hello, Andrew. Oh, sorry about that. You ready to go? You got the current events quiz? You want to do that?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go.
God. Listen, everybody. It's the Evening Edge Current Events Quiz.
A quiz, hotshot.
Can you answer the question?
I bet you think you're pretty smart, huh?
Now, here's your host, Todd Hollst.
Thank you very much, Norm Kelly, official announcer of the current events quiz. All right, Andrew, you are playing for a pair of tickets to go see Santana. He's going to be at the Rose June 27th. Have you ever seen Santana before?
I have at Riverbend.
He's a guitar legend for sure. No question.
Yes,
all right, so this is how this works. I'm going to give you three questions with three possible answers. And Andrew, tell everybody the answer is always
C.
There you go. All right. Here is question number 1. And by the way, this is brought to you in part by Breaking the Law.
Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law.
All questions have to do with people breaking the law. All right. Cops in Michigan say on Saturday they busted a 10-year-old boy for doing what? A, climbing into a claw machine and stealing a toy. B, breaking into a neighbor's home and stealing all their remote controls. I think that might be kind of funny. That would irritate me to no end. Or C, stealing an SUV and trying to drive it to Detroit to see his mom.
I'm going to have to go C.
You got it. That's right. So that would be a funny prank. I don't think that you want to break into anybody's house. Don't do that. But it would be funny to just steal everybody, steal all their remote controls and just kind of hold it for ransom. That would be kind of fun. All right, here's question number 2. Surveillance video from a cell phone store in Miami Gardens shows a robbery suspect wearing A, lime green Speedos, B, nothing but fishing boots, or C, a box on his head.
C, a box on his head.
Yeah. It looked as though he found a box, put it on his head, and then went into the store to rob it. But the problem is, and I've seen the video, he didn't cut any eyes out. So he was just inside of a box trying to rob the place. Not
smart.
Yeah, that's right. Not the best costume or disguise. All right, here's question number 3 for the big win. A man in South Carolina is facing charges after cops say he tried to rob a convenience store with A, homemade nunchucks made from a broomstick, B, toothpicks, or C, a Nintendo Duck Hunt game pistol painted black.
C.
You got it. Yeah, he painted this thing black, and that's the weapon of choice that he used to rob the place. Though, when I was a kid, and I was telling somebody this the other day, because somehow nunchucks, and I think they're called nunchucks, not numchucks.
None.
Right, but they basically should be called numchucks, so when you knock yourself in the head, you will go numb. When I was a kid, I went through one of those martial arts phases like a lot of little kids do. And my parents were bright enough not to buy me my own nunchucks, but I made some using an old broom handle that I found, and I did injure myself. So, yeah, it does hurt. It does hurt. Well, congratulations. You are the winner. Hang on the line, Andrew. We'll get your details and we'll get those tickets to you, okay?
All righty, thank you.
There you go. And that's how you play the current events quiz.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
All right. Well, I'm going to get to this story, but I don't have noisy neighbors, which I'm grateful for. The people that live around me, for the most part, are all elderly, and the people that aren't have adult children or have small children. So they don't cause a lot of ruckus. They're not loud. They're not shooting off fireworks or anything like that. But I got an email from somebody about a story of a woman in Pennsylvania who was sentenced to 45 to 90 days in jail because she was found guilty of disorderly conduct after, in the quote, and this isn't from the story, forcing her neighbors to listen to her having loud sex for 2 years. And this woman, it's weird story. She's very loud. And the neighbor complained, confronted her and said, "Hey, you're keeping my kids up. They live in an apartment. They share a wall." And that the woman just, I guess just being belligerent, decided to be even louder. So anyway, she got arrested and charged with disorderly conduct. But then I started thinking, it's like, well, what would you rather have next door? Loud sex or fireworks? So that's what we're going to ask. That's the question. Hey, Tim, how you doing tonight? Hey, Lyle. Hi, Caroline. Oh, Angela, that's not bad. An RTA bus schedule. Ow, jeez. Countdown to summer. 4th of July is 29 days away. How exciting. David, really? You had your neighbor move because of your snoring? Wow. I might mention that. That's crazy. There was one time, and I think of all the places that I lived, only one place did I live next to someone who was having loud sex. And I didn't really mind it, to be honest with you. But I mean, it only happened like once or twice, so it wasn't like a persistent, constant intrusion. Oh, Angela, that's a great idea. But here's a question. How do you store it? Back in the day, you used to put all that audio on a cassette tape. But, don't really do that anymore. I mean, people still have cassette tapes and they still have cassette decks, but Frank, you're funny. Do, 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 do. Tap shoes. All right, here we go. Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7. Last hour, we were talking about a time capsule that was opened or discovered and then opened up in Marion, Ohio, at a fire station. Found all kinds of cool old stuff, over 100-year-old like badges and firefighter rosters and newspapers. And I was thinking, well, what should we put in a time capsule? Some people made some good suggestions. Somebody mentioned on the live stream, what about a sampling of local radio stations? Well, that's not bad. And I thought, well, how are you going to do that? I guess you could put them on cassette. You know, people in radio used to make air checks, put them on cassette, but you'd have to include the cassette player, right? I'm guessing in 100 years, those are going to be hard to find. Or maybe a flash drive. Not bad. I don't know if files corrupt over long periods of time on a flash drive. 937-457-1290. Tracy and Troy. What's up, Tracy?
Hey, Todd. How you doing this evening?
I'm well. How are you?
It's been a great day. I'm doing well. Thank you, sir. Thanks for asking.
So what do you think should be in a time capsule?
I'm thinking about a couple of things that were invented in the Dayton area, like starter, for instance. Kettering was the the car starter.
No, right. I got that, but
1920.
I understand that. What I said, maybe you didn't hear. I'm thinking I wanted like stuff that is more contemporary. I'm sure that there are time capsules throughout the Miami Valley that people have buried long ago that probably have stuff like that, or the Wright brothers.
I was thinking something else that was more later on in the 20th century, and that's the pop top.
Right, sure, yeah. But I'll tell you,
invented by the guy that lived over in Oakwood.
Yeah, I bet a lot of those are just going to be dug up naturally because people just drop them on the floor or on the ground, you know?
The other thing is maybe a Huffy sprocket from a Huffy bike.
Oh, that's not a bad one. That's not bad. All right, Tracy, I appreciate your call. That line's open, 937-457-1290. All right, we're going to get to this after the news. I've got an email from a listener, Bridget in Vandalia, And it has to do with loud, noisy neighbors. And this is the time of year where the noisy neighbors really, really make themselves known with fireworks. But this has nothing to do with fireworks. It has to do with someone having loud sex. And my question is going to be, which would you rather have? A neighbor who makes a lot of noise having sex, or a neighbor who shoots fireworks off around the clock?
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Yeah, Ulrich, that's what I'm saying. It's like it should be from our own period, not 100 years ago. You know? If they wanted to bury a starter or a pop top or something from the Wright brothers, they should have done that 100 years ago. Oh well. Oh, there you go, a pair of Crocs. I love that. That's a great idea, Tim. A pair of Crocs. Where's my list? There. Maybe that should be the next project. Creating a Evening Edge time capsule. A Dayton time capsule. I like that idea. Renee, I love that. Yoga pants. Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7. Talking about what items should we put in a contemporary, a modern time capsule. That's what I'm interested in. I don't want to put, old stuff like I get it. Stuff about the Wright brothers. Sure, yeah, they're from here. But if the people 100 years ago wanted to do a time capsule with Wright brothers stuff, then that would be up to them. I like the idea of putting more contemporary items. I suggested something from the Dragons. I mean, they've only been here for just over 20 years. That's pretty modern. Great idea from Tim on the live stream, Crocs. I think we could put, they're from Dayton. Crocs is right here in Dayton. Something from the UD Flyers. Someone also mentioned, and I love this, yoga pants. Now, I don't know that yoga pants are from Dayton. I don't think they are. But we could probably find some UD Flyer yoga pants. So that way it'd be kind of a combination of two, right? Yoga pants, very modern, very popular right now. But you put the UD logo on it, and there you go. That would work. I'm sure there's probably, I don't know, a dozen so other items, if not more, that we could come up with. And I kind of like this idea. Maybe this will become the new campaign on the show, coming up with an Evening Edge time capsule that we could bury. I would imagine that somebody here in our building would let me dig a giant hole in the front of the station and bury it. It's not a bad idea. So if you got an idea for an item to put in the time capsule, 937-457-1290. We have mail call.
Sit back down and shut your trap. It's time for mail call.
Message for you, son.
You should see a fan mail.
You got a message. I got your letter. Amazing what you can accomplish by mail.
Congratulations, Skippy. You've got mail.
If you'd like to send me an email, eveningedgetodd@gmail.com, or you can send me a message on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok. Hey, Todd, this article popped up on my Facebook feed, and I immediately thought of you. It gave me a laugh because I had the same problem with a roommate. We ended up breaking our lease over her loud sex. LOL. Love your show, Bridget from Vandalia. And she put a link in her email. And this story is a couple of years old, but I thought it was amusing. Only because this is the time of year when noisy neighbors really come out of the woodwork, especially if they like fireworks. We have them in our neighborhood, not as bad as when we lived in Xenia. In Xenia, fireworks started probably late April. But here we hear them, but we don't really see them. So I don't know who's shooting them off, but It's not been too bad. But here's the story. 25-year-old Pennsylvania woman pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct after forcing, their words in the story, forcing her neighbors to listen to her having loud sex for 2 years. The woman was sentenced to 45 days in jail, but was given time served and released. I guess she was serving time for something else. Anyway, cops say the woman would have sex so loudly that it shook her neighbor's furniture. The noise next door was so loud, one neighbor testified she was forced to give her daughter's noise-canceling headphones before going to bed. The sounds were coming from the other side of the wall, from the room that they shared in the apartment. The loud neighbor would sometimes go until 3 a.m. in the morning. Wow. When the noise first became an issue about 2 years ago, the mom said she would knock on the door and ask the loud neighbor to keep quiet, but she didn't. In fact, the mom says the loud woman increased the level of noise as retaliation for her complaints. One of the neighbor's daughters was placed on bed rest for an illness and was confined to her room for 10 days. The mother says over the course of those 10 days, the loud woman had sex nonstop and the noise was unavoidable. In court on Wednesday, the loud woman said she regretted her neighbors weren't in court to hear her apology. All right. So this article, a couple of years old. I've only dealt with that once in my life. I lived in an apartment in Beaver Creek, and on one or two occasions in the summertime, I had the window open. I heard them down around the corner. And I honestly didn't bother me. Didn't bother me at all, but it only happened a couple of times. But I can't imagine having to deal with that all the time. And in my instance, they weren't right on the other side of the wall. They were quite a distance down, but I could still hear them. But that's a question. I thought, with fireworks season here, what would you rather have? Would you rather have noisy neighbors having sex, or would you rather have the fireworks? If you had your druthers, which would you choose? 937-457-1290. Pam in Kettering, what's going on, Pam?
Hi, not too much. Yourself?
Not too much either, but I'm curious to know, Pam, would you rather have noisy neighbors who light off fireworks or have sex?
Fireworks.
Fireworks? You'd rather have the fireworks opposed to the sex. Okay. All right. I'll mark you down.
I think the other's disgusting. It's private. I mean, you shouldn't air your dirty laundry.
Okay. I don't think that's dirty laundry, but I get what you're saying. Anyway, that's not why you called, Pam.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking maybe take some photographs of the Dayton skyline and mark the date.
Oh, that's not a bad idea because, in 100 years, 200 years, it's certainly going to change, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I get that.
And maybe some other landmarks.
Okay. I like that idea. Thank you, Pam. Roger in Pickle, what's going on? Hello, Roger. Roger, are you there? That's like the third call tonight that I think was on line 2 that they didn't respond.
Hello?
Oh, there you are. I thought maybe the phone line was broken, but Roger, you're broken.
No, I was on. I was on with AAA.
Oh,
I'm
no.
Stalled right now. No car.
Oh, no. I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all right. Hey, the reason something to put in your time capsule.
Yeah.
That reminds you of Dayton.
Yes.
Okay. And it's been for years. I've been home 23 years, and it's not changed. If you can put a miniature orange barrel in there, that would remind me of Dayton, because I have never been through Dayton without seeing orange barrels. And the last time I came home from a Dayton Dragons game, I got about ran off the road twice.
Oh, my gosh. Well, you know what? Years ago, somebody did a board game about orange barrels, and I think the person who did it was from Dayton. I bet I could find a miniature orange barrel somewhere.
Yeah.
I think there were orange barrels in the game.
That would be outstanding for Dayton. That's all you see. And right now, it's dangerous driving through Dayton at night, especially from a Dayton Dragons game.
No, I got you.
I don't even think we're going to go back for a game for a while because of that. But,
oh, wow.
Hey,
okay.
I appreciate you calling, though.
Well, I appreciate you calling, and I hope that your AAA gets there soon.
Yeah, well, it's only been 4 hours, so what's new?
It's only been 4 hours?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nope. It's just like restaurants. They don't have enough drivers.
I suppose. All right. Well, be safe out there, Roger. That line's open, 937-457-1290. 4 hours. Tim and Lima, what's up, Tim?
Hey, not much, Todd. Hey, during your current events quiz, you were talking about remote controls.
Yeah, it was
And
just a silly one-liner joke or whatever about somebody stealing remote controls from their neighbor.
Well, when I was younger, about 16 years old,
Mhm.
they switched the cable boxes, so you didn't have to turn the dial anymore. And everybody started getting these units with the remote controls.
Right.
Well, and everybody in my neighborhood was getting them, and me and my friend decided that we were going to take our remote control and start pointing them in windows and changing people's channels on them.
And it worked?
It worked, and it made this one guy was so mad. I mean, he was yelling at his TV and everything, trying to figure out what was wrong. And
You know what? It's funny that you mentioned that, Tim, because I remember talking about this on the show a couple of years ago, and it hasn't happened recently in my house, is that occasionally, and I don't know if it's happened with the new TV that we have, and this TV is maybe a year and a half old. There was a time when we had a TV that every once in a while it would just pop on. I'd be like down in my studio or whatever, and then I'd start hearing talking, and I'd be like, "What is that?" And I'd get up and I'd look, and the TV had popped on. And then, I thought, well, maybe jokingly, half jokingly, well, maybe the house is haunted, right? Yeah. And the ghost is turning on the TV just as a joke or whatever. But I think that might be the real reason, is that maybe I had a similar TV as the neighbor, and we don't live in an apartment or anything. I mean, the other house is maybe, 30, 40 feet away, but I guess it could go through, on a good day, and the signal, I don't know, maybe.
but that was one of the best practical jokes we played.
Yeah.
When we were younger, that was so much fun.
Well, I remember the cable. I remember, and thanks for your call, Tim. I appreciate it. 937-457-1290. I remember when we first got cable, and it was Continental Cable, and there was a box, and I think Continental became Time Warner, but there was a box on top of the TV that had like all the channels, and there was a slider on it, and you could slide it to whatever channel. But then I also remember that I think to that box, there was a corded remote, and it looked just like a keypad, right? It was like the size of a calculator or something, but it had the channels on it. And I think the cord was maybe 20 feet or something, and that was the remote control. And boy, oh boy, I remember when we got that, we thought we were just we were living large. I remember we had an RCA Victor tube TV, this gigantic old TV that also had a radio and a turntable attached to it. And when we got cable, Mom and Dad broke down and bought a new color TV just so we can enjoy the cable. And boy, oh boy, having that corded remote was something else.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Yeah, see, I'd rather listen to the sex than the fireworks. I would much rather listen to loud people. Now, not all the time. I mean, if these people were doing it 24/7, that would be a problem. I wouldn't want to hear that. But once in a while, I'd rather hear the sex than the fireworks. Colleen, that's funny. Colleen, I got an email from somebody about a woman who went to jail because she was repeatedly having loud sex, and it was annoying her neighbors, and she got busted for like disorderly conduct. And I'm just curious if people would rather listen to the fireworks or the loud sex. Oh, Tina, that's a good one. That's a real good one. Newspaper. Yeah, I put like a newspaper about the tornadoes and the shooting. Anna, that or Don or John, that's a great point. It depends on who's having sex. That's true. Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7. So I asked this question in relation to this news article that I got. 25-year-old woman pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct and sentenced to 45 to 90 days in jail for having loud sex for 2 years and annoying her neighbors. This is a true story from Pennsylvania. And it happened a couple of years ago, but it came from a listener by the name of Bridget in Vandalia. And the question I had was, would you rather have noisy neighbors making noise, having sex, or fireworks? Because it is fireworks season. And there's nothing more annoying than being right next to somebody who loves to shoot off fireworks all the time. And honestly, it's sort of broken down between, we had, I think, 1 or 2 calls and then people on the live stream. It's actually sort of broken down 50-50. The guys would rather hear the sex and the women would rather hear the fireworks. But John makes a great point on the live stream. It really depends on who's having the sex, right? And what that sounds like. And he makes a great point. If it sounds like torture, nobody wants to hear that. But if it sounds like sex on a Donna Summer album, okay, we'll take that, right? But I guess that kind of makes sense. I mean, the one caller we had that said she'd rather hear the fireworks said, "Oh, that's disgusting. That sex is disgusting." So, okay, I guess. But thank you for participating in our flash poll. Let's just go ahead and wrap it up. How about that? I was going to talk about a trimmer being recalled, but I have to delve a little bit deeper into it. We don't have time. But there's a cordless hedge trimmer that's being recalled, about 85,000 of them. You can find the story on WHIO.com. But I have a story about a trimmer mishap that happened at our house over the weekend. So I'll just have to save that for tomorrow. Well, have a terrific Monday night. Don't forget, you can get the podcast of the show at eveningedgetodd.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And you can follow me on social media at Evening Edge Todd. Have a terrific night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow just after 5 here on the Evening Edge. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a terrific Monday night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Be safe out there, my friends. Be safe. Adios.